Second, boys, we're live, so hang tight. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Morning Pass Rush Show, Episode 3. We are going to be deep diving the AFC West today. We got a packed house as well. So, the first two episodes were a hit. A lot of people wanted to be on the show. So, without further ado, go in order from the two people that were here yesterday with us. We have the Jets.
Yo, what's up?
Oh, shit, there he goes. He caught himself. He's like, whoa. He's like, hold on, I just said, yo, let me, yo.
Oh, I'm in great mood.
You guys hear the laughter? You guys know that laughter? The Colts, the man, the myth, the legend.
Yo, gang.
Someone that's brand new to the show. He will be a staple in our episodes. Obviously, not this one, but me and him are going to be having a morning podcast as well. Every single day that he's available during the daytime. We got the Bills, aka the Lion, in the building.
What's up, good people?
Actually, no, we got one more, but he's not going to be doing the podcast, but he's here gracing us with his presence. But before we get to him, we got the Minnesota Vikings in the house.
What's good?
The OG Journal in the house. You guys finally hear his voice. And last but not least, oh shit, he left. He's like, let me bounce before I have to say anything. All right, so let's deep dive this real quick. Because I hit the wrong button there. All right, so we're going to be deep diving the AFC West. Kansas City is going to be on the map. They are 9-1 currently. We're going to have the Colts, Isaiah, kick it off. And the Vikings are also going to chime in on this team. So, Colts, the floor is yours.
All right. So before the season, prior to in the playoffs, we lost to the Steelers. It was kind of embarrassing loss, especially from the great season that we had. We just got hired. The old Chiefs user wasn't really, doing what we expected him to do. So we hired a new head coach. From the start, we knew that we made the right decision. Got wins. I was on top of the AFC. Well, at least a contender. It was clear that he would make the playoffs. That we would make the playoffs. But then we fell short to the Steelers in a game where our offense, honestly, it got clamped. We got exposed a little bit. We had to go back to the drawing board, talk to the offensive coordinator, talk to Mahomes. I mean, we're paying him the money. We have to give him more, let him do what he knows. I'm trying to say, just give him the keys. Make sure he has the keys. Make sure he knows he has the keys. So that was our focus in the offseason, making sure our offense can click over top any defense. As well as just let our head coach know that it was his first season, and we expect great things from him. Considering the standings, I expect us to be a top team Uh, Titans is up there. Bengals is up there. I expected us to be at least a 1 or 2 seed, maybe a 3 seed, but that's kind of pushing it. And so far we've done that. I think we've done a great job. 9-1. Our only loss is against a team I expected us to maybe be behind in the Titans. But we're doing a great job offensively, getting the run game going. Pacheco is having a heck of a season, second in rushing yards. And obviously Mahomes is doing his thing. We lost Kelsey in the offseason, but, Hurst has been – obviously you can't replace Kelsey, but Hurst is doing a pretty good job. So overall, from what we expected and for what we have now, I'm pretty happy with what we got. All right, so looking at Mahomes as our quarterback, the man, the myth, the legend, Patrick Mahomes, Mr. Big Bucks, having a great season, doing what we expect him to do. I wish he would lower the turnovers, especially come playoff time. Turnovers is a huge deal, but 20 touchdowns, over 2,000 yards, we obviously will take that. Like I said, the running back, Isaiah Pacheco, doing his thing, second in rushing yards. I said it before, I think he's the most underrated running back, but obviously he's getting attention now for what he's doing. Over 1,000 yards already, 12 touchdowns. Our receiving core, I mean, it could use some work, but I do like Rashee Rice, 85 overall, 25 years old. But I still do think that we need another receiver. Maybe through the draft, maybe through a trade in the offseason. DeAndre Hopkins is a free agent. We're really just trying to squeeze what we can get out of him. Kadarius Toney, 93 speed, but obviously we want something better. Troy Franklin, 22 years old. Maybe we could develop him more, maybe get him to a superstar. But I think that, we still want another receiver. But I forgot to mention, we only have $4 million in cap space right now. A lot of that is going to Mahomes and Chris Jones in our offensive line. Chris Jones is a free agent next year, so we can free some money up there. But speaking of our offensive line, I think we have the best offensive line in the league. Not too old other than Thuney, or Thruney, however you say his name. But we're really happy with our pass protection. The only bad thing I see here is that we're gonna have to pay them. I mean, when you have the best offensive line, you got to pay them like the best offensive line. And like I just said before, that is taking a lot of our money. Our defensive line, Chris Jones, free agent next year. I mean, he's still great at what he does, and he can carry us this year. But as you can see, but we have some young guys who are ready to take the next step. George, Leonard, Felix. I'm thinking that these guys could definitely take the next step, maybe move one of them to D tackle. And then we have a big 3 right there. As far as linebackers, Nick Bolton. I'm actually really impressed with his progress over the years. I like his run stopping, how he sees the field, his awareness is really great. He's really built himself to a superstar. Joseph, only 21, our rookie that we drafted in the 4th round, already showing superstar potential. Putting him next to Nick is going to be, honestly, I think we're going to be really great in the upcoming years. I mean, we have a lot of speed in that linebacker position, so just in case one of them go down, we still have some good replacements. Cornerbacks, Trent McDuffie, 24 years old, 92 speed. L'Jarius Sneed, obviously, 87 overall, 95 speed. And Julian Love, 82 over 90 speed. Other than that, I mean, I do think we still need some work in the secondary. We did draft Will Johnson in the second round, pick 23. Hopefully that he can mold into the guy that we expect him to be. But looking at his roster, I'm actually really impressed. Obviously, we spent a lot of money, so we're expecting to win now. But I do think that we have some pieces that we can build towards the future. I'm not in panic mode at all because we're winning 9-1. You got to pull the trigger. Sometimes teams don't get to where they can be because they want to hold on to their money. They want to be too safe. I like what we've done. We put our money where we want it to be. Moving forward, I mean, after we get off the Chris Jones contract, I mean, I think we'll be pretty happy. I mean, maybe try to move Joe Thuney, get him off. I mean, 32 years old. I'm not sure who would want him. Maybe a team that's contending. I know the Steelers love to get an O-line to help with Najee Harris. But overall, I'm actually really happy with this team and what we've done in the future. I mean, I do think we can win the Super Bowl as quick as this year. The Titans is the only team that I'm worried about.
All right, Vikings. You're up.
I think this team is very impressive this year. It's been kind of surprising to see how they've leaned on the run so much. When you got a guy like Patrick Mahomes, you kind of expect to throw the ball a lot. But I mean, if you can run the ball, why not? I mean, Pacheco's already at 1,000 yards. Another thing that surprised me is Hayden Hurst being the leading receiver. He's filled that void of Travis Kelce perfectly. I mean, 9-1. It's just that's a great record. I know the Titans are the ones that beat them. Probably looking forward to getting back to them in the playoffs and avenging that loss. I think this team, while the window is closing with the cap space issues, as the Colts mentioned, it's not closed yet, and it's actually wide open for this season. And whenever your quarterback is Patrick Mahomes, the window's never truly closed. I think that the linebackers have been really good this year. Like the Colts mentioned Troy Bolton. He's been great. He's developed perfectly. Is exactly what they need him to be. Smart, fast. I think that they can also, like the Colts mentioned, I think they need to use Troy Franklin a little better. That's a really good rookie. He's got great potential, and I think he could develop into a number one receiver for them. He's just not seeing the field much. I mean, he's only played in one game, and he really I think he could turn into an X factor for this team. It just needs to be used correctly.
Is that all you got?
Yeah, I was just looking on Neon. I think Julian Love, he leads the team in tackles. It's really impressive out of a safety, coming down, filling gaps. He's got 28 tackles, and also he's got 4 interceptions, a touchdown, and a fumble recovery this year. He's been really good. Not a lot of people have talked about him. Chris Jones, he's going to be a free agent next year, and it looks like the Chiefs aren't going to have enough money to pay him. And I think that's okay. I think that the defense will be fine losing him. I mean, that's a big piece. Defensive tackle is one of those positions that you can kind of fill up in the draft, though. You can get a young guy to get in there and play. when you run the 4 D lineman set, you can kind of lean on a veteran defensive tackle to help develop that rookie. So I think that they should look somewhere in the second or third round for a defensive tackle to replace Chris Jones, rather than trying to figure out a way to pay him. He's going to be really expensive. As the Colts said, it's one of the best offensive lines in the league. And I think Joe Thuney might be time to move on from him. I know he's only 32. He's probably got a couple more years left, but the amount of space he takes up as far as cap goes, he's kind of hurting the team a lot, where they could be out there looking for a guy to put them over the edge. And I think they have the Bengals coming up. That's going to be a great game. It's one of the 2 top teams in the AFC are hitting off against each other. I look for the Chiefs to be able to run the ball well against them. And I think the Chiefs are kind of set. They're looking towards maybe playing for that 2 seed, 3 seed, possibly. I know they got a game left against the Broncos. And if they can't win that one, we're looking at possibly a wild card spot. I think that could be a little dangerous coming up. As far as their free agents go, I think you got to let Chris Jones walk. You got to let DeAndre Hopkins walk. And those are really their 2 big free agents that are coming up. But this team, it's built to make a run this year. They got all the pieces. They went out and spent all the money. And I'd look for them to be a big player in the playoffs.
All right, moving on to the Denver Broncos. Coach Blocky, as we like to say. They're sitting at an 8-2 record, right behind the Kansas City Chiefs. Buffalo Bills, Mr. DeLine. Let's get your analysis on this team.
I don't seen them play a couple times, and I like what he does with Fields. Very dangerous person. I like how his team fits how he plays. I would say that. Very dangerous user. Like I said, I don't know how he does it with Fields, because we know a certain person who couldn't stand Justin Fields. But let's look at his depth chart. I like the running back Henderson. He's one of my style kind of backs. One little speedy guy with a little punch. He got the ultimate cheat code at Greg DeLucci at tight end. He's a problem, and then he got the old school problem, O.J. Howard. I like his receiving core with Sutton, Graves, and Brown, and Van Jefferson. O.G. Ram. I love that. His offensive line is dangerous. He got 80s across the board, except for that center. But he got 2 old guys. Let's look at his D line. I was sitting here looking at it before we even got on. His D line is nasty. He got a bunch of young, and he got a couple of old people at that D type. He got Michael Pierce, who's 32, but I think he could flip it and find somebody else to get right there. He has defense ends. Like, he got Zach Allen and Jared Verse, and then the Gabe Jack. So it looked like he played a lot of nickel. Drew Sanders is a gem. Everybody knows that at the linebacker. He got Nick Bolton. Like I said, this guy team, he got height, speed. He got what you want. Then the second there, he got 2 X factors back there with Patrick Surtain and Mathis. So that's always dope to have. That's what we're kind of missing in Buffalo right now. Like I said, his secondary is young. It's young. You know, he might want to get another strong safety, but like I said, he's young. Like I said, he only got 2 losses, so I really can't really talk too much junk about the team because we struggling over here. But I think the only thing, you know, his contract, he really don't got no crazy contract. You know, he got to decide he don't see Sutton, but you know that's all. But you know, then he got golf right there. So, I like how he built his team. You know, I think he don't be a dangerous one once the playoffs get started. You know, because all he really had to, you know, his 2 losses are to a very talented coach team. The Titans, he played a tough game against with the Chargers. The Cowboys won with a shootout. Played Cleveland pretty good. And Washington, he beat a very talented Commanders team. And then he got Miami, who has improved, and he got to play that Chargers team again. So and he got to see Kansas City. So, I'm curious. I think he's on pace to make the playoffs. It's on you, boss man.
All right. So if I'm the GM for the Broncos, nothing much here that I fix. Got a team that's 82 overall. First time with this brand new team, rookie coach. Biggest factor that I see is 107.62 million available in that salary cap. With an 8-2 record, I mean the sky's the limit for them next season. Touching base with their roster, they already have the quarterback of the future, Justin Fields. As the Bills said, it was hard for him to play in Chicago, to not fit the scheme that we had out here. So he's got the quarterback of the future. They're easily a runner for MVP next season. Not this year, but maybe next season. Running backs, he's set with the speed. 93 speed, 95 excel for Henderson. So he's golden there. So the first 2 spots that he needs, that every team needs, running back and quarterback, he's already got that set up. Tight ends, 25-year-old, 84 speed, 88 acceleration, 6'4", superstar. Greg, that man is killing it. Behind him, he's got OJ Howard, the veteran, 6'6", 85 speed, 90 excel. And then he's got Caden pre-scoring, 24 years old, 6'5", 83 speed, 85 excel. Pretty sure he's going to be taking OJ's spot either this offseason or next. So he's already got the tight ends locked up as well. Receiving core, only one that's up there in age is Cortland Sutton at 29, but he's 6'4", 90 speed. So he should be around for a few more seasons. The rest of the receivers, 21, 20, 90 speed, 93 speed. Then you got Van Jefferson, that's 29, Kyle Phillips, 26. But then the rest are all mid-20s, 23, 24, and 25-year-olds. So he already has the core set up pretty much on the first 3 phases: receiving core, running back core, tight end core, and quarterback. Offensive line, yeah, they need some help. They got a couple people there that are getting up in age, 30 years old, 33. Possibly use those as trade bait. A lot of people always are looking for O-line, so probably ship them out for a top 3 draft pick somewhere. First round, second round, third round. That could be an easy transaction to do to build up in the draft. Defensively, they're like Buffalo said, they're stacked. There's no room for improvement at all. Everybody is young for the most part. Linebacking core, young, fast, tall. That's exactly what a coach wants. Secondary, 25 and a 26-year-old X Factor, 99 overall, 83 overall. I mean, you're golden on your 2 corners. Slot corner, yeah, he needs a little bit more development, but hey, that's what the training camp is for. 89 speed, 92 excel. not too far behind, but obviously you got the top two corners in the league in this team. You also have three safeties that are not above average, but they're young, 21 and 23 years old. Give them a season and a half in the league. They should be quite up there, especially with the way that they play. Kickings for they got their kickers. 31-year-old Will Lutz. Pretty sure he won't retire until he's 35 anyway. So use them until you lose them. But the salary cap is what has me amazed. Sitting at 107.62 mil. Like I said, the sky's the limit for Coach Blake. And see where they take him. I see them giving the Chiefs a good run for their money to not tie up the division when they face up later on in the season. The one true knock that I have on Denver is that Justin Fields likes to gamble a lot, and he already suffered a suspension. This team is under review for 3 games. That there's going to be a determination on a suspension. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just put this out there. If we see receivers with 200, 300 yards receiving, we are going to start cracking down on that. I know you guys want to get your players maxed out real quick. That stuff is a no-go. If it happens one time, cool. Hey, stuff happens, right? But if it's consistently week in, week out, where you're only targeting that receiver, we are going to start hitting you with a fine and then dropping the overall for that player. Because obviously we got rules in place and people don't want to follow them. We're going to start laying down the hammer. Yes, we're in a league where we want to have fun, but at the same time, if you're throwing the ball to the same player over and over and over, you got 7 receivers in that depth chart. You don't want to utilize them? All right, cool. We'll force you to. Obviously, you got plays that work with specific players. But like I said, you got 52-man roster. 53-man roster, my fault. Utilize every single player that you can. You don't see a lot of people out there. I know Steelers last year got hit. He was targeting Pickens really heavily. Same type of numbers. We came down hard on him. So we told you guys to read the rules. All 32 teams signed off on reading the rules. That padding is the biggest one that we have on there. Suspensions will start coming out. We have obviously our rules commissioner in Falcons, but we're adding 2 or 3 more bodies to that to help them out. Just because this is getting ridiculous, week in, week out, we're seeing the same players, 200 plus, 300 plus yards per game, 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns. Like, bruh, there's a lot of players in your team that want to get the rock. Don't be that guy that gets caught trying to stack up your receiving core by just targeting one player. With that being said, we're going to go to the next team. And the person that you're about to hear talk is pretty excited about this. We'll let him tell you guys why. But we're looking at the Los Angeles Chargers, 86 overall, only 7.87 million in cap. But to discuss this team is going to be the Jets, aka Jay the Kid.
So let's do this. I mean, if I'm the Chargers, we just had to hire a new head coach. You had to hire a new head coach after Level of Q left, and I mean, this roster. As excited as I was to talk about it, I mean, I'm looking at the roster. There's a lot of older players, but we'll start. First off, you got Jay Herbo.
Let me interrupt real quick. Who is this coach?
My brother, actually.
All right, so we have a Jets coach that was with us since Madden 23. His brother watching the games week in, week out. Oh, snap. That's dope. Vacancy opened up. His brother's like, hey, can I join? And the rest is history.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm looking at the roster here. You got Herbo. Herbo's a great quarterback to have, gunslinger, strong arm. Running backs, previous management picked up CMC. And also they have Braylon Allen on the bench. I would guess you're probably gonna, look to get rid of CMC and start developing Braylon Allen. So he's ready for next season. He's got 94 speed, 93 excel. They did make some moves they made another offensive move. They picked up right before the break. They picked up not the break, right at the trade deadline. They picked up Cole Kmet, most likely going to be their tight end. That takes them for a while. That they use for a while. Brenton Strange, he's okay. He's young, and they got Brevin Jordan, another young tight end. So they got 4 tight ends on the roster. A little bit much, but if someone goes down, it's good to have depth, of course. Then you look at the wide receivers. They got the dinosaur himself, Keenan Allen, 33 years old. I probably would have moved him to some type of contending team that could have used a receiver. Elijah Moore, he's becoming a superstar. That's nice to see. And then they also have a young guy, Mario Williams, 76 overall, 22, 5'9", but he's got 96 speed. Darius Davis, I probably would have developed him a little earlier. Another 94 speed guy, and Bo Melton also has 94 speed, but they're all short for the most part. So you probably want to have maybe one of them. You'll probably develop Mario and maybe have Darius Davis on the outside if they don't get another receiver in the draft or something. But I could see them getting Branch. Offensive line, it's nice, but it's also a mix of old and could use some help. I mean, you got Rashawn Slater, definitely a great left tackle to have. Corey Linsley, old, so he's most likely going to just stick around for this year. He might retire after this year. Zion Johnson hasn't progressed as fast as you would want him to, but I mean, 81 is really good to have. Jamari Salyer, 78 overall, 25. He's okay. And then I'd probably get somebody else because Cam Jurgens, he's only 74, and he plays right tackle for them. But they probably could use some younger pieces on that O line, especially with this team looking like it's going to be heading into needing some younger players. And then the D line, you still got Joey Bosa. He's 30, so you're probably gonna have to deal him soon, in my opinion. But he's also still superstar, so if you think he can stay around, I'd keep him. But I mean, I know I've seen teams like the Bears. They, I think you guys traded away Khalil Mack. That would have been a good move for another championship team. That's a move for a championship team. Looking to contend. And if they have a hole in the the off season, they see, oh, I need an end. Maybe they hit up the Chargers and be like, hey, what would you send for Joey Bosa? I mean, what would it take to get him? They recently picked up Alex Highsmith and Eric Armstead. I like the Highsmith move. Armstead, I like. I mean, I guess it's just a filler for now. And they still have Sebastian Joseph Day. But they also have Cyrus Moss and Aaron Graves in the back, getting developed, hopefully. Then when I look at the linebackers, Dayon Henley is someone I really like. Aziz Al-Shair, a little old. I mean, he's not that old, but he can hold it down. Shaq Leonard, he's good. Eric Kendricks he's old at this point. He's 33. Not what he used to be, of course. He's lost a step. So, a lot of positions could use a lot of youth, if I'm being honest with you. Use an injection of youth. Secondary, you got my favorite safety, Derwin James. Dude's a monster. He's 29 at this point. I'd probably keep him around because he's a great safety to have. J.C. Jackson, he didn't turn out to be what that Charger contract, had him to be when they paid him all that money. I think it was last year in real life. Hilton, they moved him to safety. That's a good move. especially with not having much on the other side. But I think for a guy that's coming in, coming into a different roster, he's not doing bad. I mean, he's got Kalen Carson. He's got, oh wow, that's a name right there. He's only 71 overall, but Smoke Bowie, ladies and gentlemen. His name is Smoke Bowie. He's a cornerback. He's 5'10", 92 speed. I'd probably develop him just to have, a second option, especially because J.C. Jackson, I mean, he's good, but he's 29, so he's not gonna have that much left when it comes to, productivity. But I mean, what more can you really do? And kicker, you got Chris Boswell. He's 34, so you're probably gonna have to get a kicker at some point. But honestly, that's the only issue I have with this roster. It's very old, very very old. So they just need a little help. Need some younger players. Uh, got to figure out a way to get some cap space, and then that's about it for my assessment of the Chargers. I mean, not much you can do when you come in middle of the season. You don't, team looks way different than what you would expect, what you expected. So I'm interested to see what they do with all these, what they did after what they did after the trade deadline, and how they're going to attack the draft.
So I'm Coach Easus. I'm the Chargers. I got an 86 overall team, and I see my salary cap at 7.87 mil. How do I get more cap on my team? Simple. I feel like the Chargers made some smart moves at the end on the trade deadline, especially when they traded with the Bears. This is why. They made low-end draft pick trades to acquire defensive players that are monsters. And you hit the nail right in the coffin. Shaquille Leonard, Armstead, Bosa. Those are all key pieces because everybody's looking for defense. What teams do I target as a Chargers head coach, GM, in the offseason? I'm going to look at the playoff picture, sit there, and take notes. All right. Are the Colts going to get bounced out first round? Are the Jets going to get bounced out first round? They do? Perfect. Let me hit their lineup. Are the Niners going to get bounced out again in the first round? Let me get their number. And I am pitching them the world. Hey, I got Bosa on the market. Oh, shit. I want him. I got Armstead on the market. Oh, man. Now you got leverage. Yeah, you gave away draft picks. It might seem dumb when it happened. But hey, you're going to get those picks and then some back in return, which is a good investment if you ask me. You got key players. Yeah, they're old, but like he mentioned, all the playoff teams are always looking for a quick piece to plug and play. Look at the Khalil Mack trade that you talked about. Khalil Mack went to the Colts for a draft pick. Why? They needed that one extra piece on defense to help them out. At the end of the day, everybody's trying to get their team better. Some people got the luxury of making the playoffs. Some people don't. But right now, if I'm the Chargers and I'm looking at this roster, Jimmy G, you're off my team, bro. You are off my team. You shouldn't even be in the NFL for this long. Christian McCaffrey, 29 years old. He's a beast of a running back, but he's only 89 speed, 93 excel. You can find a piece in the draft that can replace him real quick.
No, he's got Braylon Allen on the roster. That's what I was telling you.
Oh yeah,
94.
that's right. Yeah, so you already
21
have
years old.
You already have the
Yeah.
replacement on the team. So hell, X Factor, 95 overall. That is three draft picks easily for anybody out there contending. Look at the playoff teams again. Who doesn't have a running back that can get them the yards that they need when it really counts? Target them. Fullbacks and tight ends. Another great trade with the Bears, getting Cole Kmet, 26 years old, at his prime. 92 catching. That's hard to find, especially in the draft. So that's a good piece to pick up. You got Brenton Strange ready to go. Also got Brevin Jordan ready to go. Max Williams does not make my team. 31 years old, 76 speed. You're not doing nothing for me, kid. CJ Ham, run block is 64. Better yet, let me put Max Williams at fullback. CJ Ham, you got the pink slip, buddy. You're on the streets. Now you got yourself a fullback that can actually serve as a receiver because you have a tight end getting switched over to a fullback. 72 run block for Max Williams. You're in there. Receiving core, Keenan Allen. I mean, just look at what happened with the Jets. They had an injury at receiving core, picked up Michael Thomas. So there is a market out there for these receivers that have experience with 91 plus catching, 89 catching traffic, 91 spec catch. So, like I said, the Chargers right now, even though it seems like they're too old, they got a mixture of a lot of youth in that team already. Nelson Aguilar, I mean, 91 speed, 90 excel, but he's 32. I'm cutting him, saving the money. Offensive line, the center that's 34, might as well ride it out with him until he retires. The rest, all youth. AJ Can, left guard, 33 years old. You're off my team. Donovan Smith, left tackle, 32 years old. You're off my team. That's easy cap space right there. So now I'm possibly even at 12 to 14 mil in cap space just by making those moves. Way too many offensive linemen, if you ask me. I tend to keep 2 left tackles, 2 left guards, 1 center, 2 right guards, and 2 right tackles. Defensive line, biggest trade bait you have, Joey Bosa. You picked up Alex Highsmith basically to replace Bosa. On the other defensive end side, yeah, you got David Clowney. He's 31 years old, but you're sitting on Shaq Leonard. That in Chicago, he was one of the best defensive ends that we had. That speed, that motor that he has, man, he shuts down everything on the edge. Even though he's only 6'2", 220, that high motor that he has, man, that'll get you there with Alex Highsmith. And that was a 2-pair combo that I had. Left end, Highsmith, right end, Leonard, and they were crashing the line, stopping the run. Armstead, he's 81. I would say keep him, just because he's got 6'7" height. Anything that goes up the middle, all he has to do is just put the hands up, ball gets swatted. I don't know if you guys caught the game last night with the Falcons, but there was a weird interception where the quarterback dropped back for Tampa, threw the ball, and instead of hitting the defender's hand, he angled it to the right a little bit. Ball hit off the helmet, flew over to the linebacker, caught it, pick 6. So that's the luxury of having a defensive tackle that's 6'7". Clowney, I mean, it's time to let him go, save the cap room. 77 overall, fine and dandy, but I mean, let's be honest, you got 2 21-year-olds in the back end waiting to get in. 89 speed for Cyrus Moss, 6'5". It's 10 years younger, a 10-year younger version of Clowney. Linebackers, like I said, Shaquille Leonard, easily moved to defensive end. The rest of your linebacking core, Eric Kendricks can also move to the D-line. There's no reason why he should be a linebacker at that age. Have him be a spell lineman for whenever your D linemen get tired. Secondary, Derwin James, a beast, 29. I would ride him out until his wheels fall off. J.C. Jackson, 83 overall. There might be a market for him, most likely at the slot for one of the contending teams. But with the Chargers, I do not see him playing another season with them. Mike Hilton, off the team. Jordan Poyer, off the team. Levy Wallace, off the team. Mike Jackson Sr., off the team. Why am I kicking all these people off the team? They're high in age, 31, 34, 30, 28. Why? Because I got Carson, 23 years old. Smoke Bowie, 22 years old. Hell, even Kyle Fuller is taking up free money right now. He's loving that free paycheck that he's getting just for showing up, not contributing. So right now, we might think that the Chargers are in full disarray. Not the truth whatsoever. They have a lot of pieces that they can go sell, and all the draft picks that they traded away to get the players that they acquired. Great investment move. Lower end picks. Now they can go ahead a year later, or even in the offseason, convert those from one that they gave away to getting two in return. And that's going to be my analysis for the Chargers. Now we're going to go with the Raiders, and they are sitting at the worst record possible. 1-10. Actually, no, they got the second worst record. My apologies. Coach was gone for about 5 weeks, so he took some losses. But Vikings, talk to us about the Raiders and their state. All right, Colts, go ahead. The floor is yours.
He unmuted his mic. I think he was ready to go.
Yeah, I think yeah.
I just heard a long pause.
I guess his mic isn't working.
All right, I'm gonna go, but Vikings come out and come back in. All right, so before the season, obviously we were happy. I mean a lot. We went 16-1. Surprisingly, we brought in a new head coach. 16-1, dominating the league. With a young team, with a pretty, well, kind of a young team. KJ Jefferson, MVP, rookie year. Was not expecting that. We knew he had potential, but we weren't expecting MVP numbers. Elite neighbors. Think he was offensive rookie of the year. Our 9th overall pick. Josh Jacobs, he had a crazy season last year. Our offense was booming. We did struggle a little bit defensively, but our offense definitely made up for that. But in the playoffs, where it really counts, we lost in the first round to the Bengals, who were the former champs, but at the same time, 16-1, you're not supposed to get out in the first round. So looking forward to this season. We're expecting more of the same. I mean, a roster that's young but has a whole offseason to get better. I expected KJ Jefferson to take an even bigger leap. Jacobs to continue to do his thing. Our receivers to continue to improve. Honestly, I would expect us to get over the hump, beat the Titans, reach the Super Bowl. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, we were playing so great, we could reach the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, right after we lost to the Bengals in the first round, the head coach came to my office, said he wasn't happy with the way the guys played out there. He felt he had a game plan. He felt he did great all season long, and he just wanted to leave. We were willing to sign him to a max contract extension, making him one of the highest paid head coaches just because of the work he's done. He still didn't budge. He said he wanted out. So we had to let him go. We brought in a new head coach. You know, we went back and forth with head coaches, if you guys remember, at the start of the season. Tried to get a head coach. Didn't work out. One of the head coaches even said that the roster wasn't fit. So he left. Then we got another user, another head coach, and things haven't looked well at all. So 1-10 right now. Not exactly what we expected at all. But I do still think that there is some light at the end of the tunnel, especially with the roster we have. All right, let's go. So KJ Jefferson, 24 years old, as I mentioned, MVP last year. Expected him to take another leap. I want to wait. I want to see something real quick. I was trying to see if he lost his X Factor because he's superstar right now. I don't know if he lost an X Factor or not, but he's superstar right now. But he's still a bright spot for us. I really think that he's still going to be a great player. Obviously, head coaching has a lot to do with how a quarterback can play. Look at Justin Fields. He was with the Chicago Bears, struggling for a little bit. Got traded to the Broncos. Whole different player. So maybe just KJ Jefferson has to work with the coaches a little bit. Stay a little bit after practice, and he'll be fine. We're happy with him. Josh Jacobs, one of the best running backs in the league. Kind of taking a step back this year from last year. Actually, yards wise, yeah, he's taking a little bit step back, but that's just the type of coach. I mean, that's just everybody's struggling this year, but we know everybody's potential. We're happy with him. Fullback Kyle, I'm not saying his last name. Not really a big piece here. Obviously, he's a great player, but not really a big piece here. Wide receivers, Devontae Adams, 32 years old. I would be looking to move him this offseason. I want to keep our core young. I think we could definitely get something huge for him, even with 32 years old. There's definitely a team in the playoffs. Look at the Steelers. They continue to talk about how they want another wide receiver. Imagine the Vikings with their wide receiver core. For a team like the Jets, maybe. I think there's a lot of teams that would want him. Maybe get a pick. I mean, you want more than a pick with him. I think you get a great deal with him. And League Neighbors, offensive rookie of the year last year. Great player. He's definitely our franchise receiver. He's gonna be here for a long time. 97 speed is crazy. Jacoby Myers, he's a free agent this year. I expect to let him walk. 28 years old. They didn't really give us the production that he actually hasn't been productive at all. So yeah, we're just gonna let him walk. I think we definitely need another receiver this year. I wanted Trey Tucker. I thought Trey Tucker could have developed, but he hasn't been what we expected when we drafted him. 2023. So yeah, I think we want another receiver. Maybe we could get that in the Devontae Adams trade. But I'm looking forward to more picks then when we do that trade. Offensive line. Definitely need some work. Colton Miller is our best offensive line, 29 years old, 89 overall. 4 years left on his contract. I'm not sure I will want to be paying him for 4 years, but O-line does seem to keep their overalls high for a while. So maybe we move him, maybe we don't. Ryan Kelly, yeah, I just think that we just need it's a pretty average O-line. Josh Jacobs has done a pretty great job with this average O-line. I think if we could bump our O-line maybe in the draft, as we do have a low record, so maybe we could draft a O-line in the draft, an offensive lineman in the draft. Defensive line, Max Crosby, one of the best left ends in the league. We're definitely keeping him, or we could move him. I mean, depending on what offers we get, I would keep him. Cameron Hayward, I guess did we trade him? We must have got him from the Steelers. I don't like that move. But I doubt any team would want him at 37 years old. So he might retire, honestly. But speaking of this defensive line, Camp Bell, I would try to give him some more minutes. Superstar, 21 years old. Danny looks like he'll be good for us. 22 years old. See if we can develop him to a superstar. Having a combo of Crosby, Campbell, and Sutton. That sounds like a nice big three. Linebacker wise, Trotter Jr., 22 years old, 85 overall, 91 speed. Wow. Devin Bush, I like Devin Bush, but I think he has 3 years on his contract. I like that linebacker duo. Got some speed there. Secondary, Kenny Moore. Let me see. I think he is a free agent after this year. He is. I miss him. He used to be a former Colt, but we had to let him walk. I think the Raiders would do the same thing. Nate Hobbs, 91 speeds, 26 years old. Let me see how he's done. 2 interceptions on the season. 5 years left on his contract. Not getting paid too much. Zion Branch, our safety, 91 speed, 21 years old. He's actually a rookie. We drafted him in the first round, our 28th pick. Hopefully he can develop to superstar. Maybe in the offseason, maybe during this season. Stephon Gilmore. Yeah, so honestly, we need to clean up the secondary. You have some old guys. I would love to give Bennett some more minutes. I'm not sure why he's over Teron Johnson. He's a younger guy. He's a superstar dev. He deserves more minutes. Same goes for Jacoby Spells, 20 years old, superstar. We definitely need to play these guys more, especially for our future. Sitting at 1-10, I think it's time we focus on our youth and build into the future. But speaking of that, I think that one thing we could do with this 1-10 record, if we continue to lose, is potentially trade our draft pick. A lot of teams want to get a higher pick to draft a quarterback. Look at the Bills. Rumors are spreading that the Colts are not going to pay Anthony Richardson. Maybe they'll try to draft up. Look at the Steelers. Do they really want to keep Artie? I think that there's potential for them to trade down in the draft, get some key pieces, maybe even include draft picks with that trade. Because we're talking about quarterbacks like Arch Manning, Dante Moore, Malachi Nelson. I think the future is bright. We didn't expect this 1-10 start at all, but the future, with the right moves, can be bright.
All right, Vikings, you back?
Is it working now?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, this team has kind of surprised us. I mean, they were a Super Bowl contender last year, had the MVP, but coaches change, and now they're sitting at 1-10, looking at the number one pick right now. And I think they got to do a couple of things to change this team. I think Devontae Adams is kind of where you got to start. He's still really good. He's just 32. And looking at it right now, he's set to make $45 million for the next 2 years. I mean, that's going to eat up a ton of your cap space. They're sitting at $19.6 million in cap space for next year. I think if they can move Devontae Adams, that would free up a lot where they could go possibly make some moves in free agency. Another thing, if they plan on being a passing team, I don't see the point in paying Josh Jacobs as much as they're paying him right now. He is making, give me 1 second. He's making $18 million a year for the next 3 years. And while he is maybe one of the best running backs in the league, 99 overall, X factor, if you plan on being a passing team, if that's the direction you want to go, spending that much money at running back isn't going to help you. So I think it sounds crazy, but I think moving Josh Jacobs could be a smart idea. Max Crosby, I would keep him. Malik Neighbors, I would keep him. Cameron Hayward, he's a free agent after this year. I'd let him walk. This team, they're sitting at 1-10 this year, but they have a superstar quarterback in KJ Jefferson. We've seen it. He was the MVP, and he's still got 3 years left on his rookie deal. And so the window is wide open. I think some of the spots they really need to improve is tight end. Michael Mayer, kind of expecting big things out of him. He's only developed to 79 overall so far in his first 2 seasons and is not having a great year this year. So maybe look to move towards taking a tight end in the draft somewhere. They got some problems on the offensive line, some big problems. They're outside of their left tackle. Their offensive line is all pretty much over 26, and none of them are above an 80 overall. I mean, that's killing you. And so maybe look to improve that offensive line. Free agency is a place that they can do it, or they can go in the draft, but they got to clear some cap before they can do that. After this year, they'll only have 2 defensive tackles on their roster if they choose to not re-sign Cameron Hayward or if he chooses to retire. And it's a 79 overall and a 68 overall. And I mean, with the way some of these teams run the ball in this league, having 2 defensive tackles, one under 80 overall, one under 70 overall, not a good recipe for winning games. Jeremiah Trotter, I like him a lot. He's a little short for my liking, but he's young and fast, and he pairs well with Devin Bush. At the cornerback position, they're set up okay. I mean, they have 4 corners over 80 overall. They're just not young. One's 29. Nate Hobbs is 26. Kenny Moore is 30. Jacorian Bennett, he's 25. So I would look to use him a lot more. He's a superstar as well. They kind of are set at strong safety with Zion Branch. He's a rookie. He's looked really good this year when I've seen him play. I think they can kind of lean on him. He's got a veteran, Stephon Gilmore, kind of helping him work through stuff. As far as the defensive ends go, Max Crosby, I say you hold on to him. And then they have a rookie right end, Danny Dennis Sutton. He hasn't really been much of a factor this year. I would look to say that Jihad Campbell is really the guy that they should be playing. I'm not really sure why they aren't. But with a superstar rookie, he's only a 74 overall, but 21 years old with superstar development. I'd look for him to be really good. Mainly, I'd say the places where this team needs to get better is at the cornerback position, the wide receiver position, and mainly the O-line. You got to give KJ Jefferson time. Let's see what draft picks they have. So they have all of their draft picks this year, which is they're going to be pretty high draft picks. I like the idea that the Colts had. Maybe moving down in the draft and trying to collect more picks. There's some guys that slip and fall to the second and third round that can really help your team out if they're developed correctly. And I think that they can look to just get overall younger. and mainly their guys, that their main guys just get younger there. Overall, I think this team has the opportunity to turn around pretty quick next year. The roster got to get a little bit better coaching and look to get a little younger, in my opinion.
All right, with that being said, we're doing the final recap right now. Anything you guys would say differently on the teams that you guys didn't get a chance to speak on? Anything you guys would want to add to whatever was said? I'm going to start off with the Raiders. Raiders, you are sitting on a gold mine right now. You got either the first pick overall or the second pick overall in the first round. You got a lot of age on your team that you can move. Colts hit it dead on. That number one, that first round pick should be traded. There's 3 talented quarterbacks. Half the league needs a quarterback at the moment. It's a king's ransom. Who knows? You heard it right here that Anthony is not going to be part of the Colts. So hey, maybe you're a big Richardson fan. If that's not your cup of tea, you got Josh Allen on the market, 99 throw power. That could be another avenue you can go search. So you have an instant replacement there if you don't like using KJ. And I'm pretty sure you can get a lot for KJ as well. So that would be one of the quickest moves that you can make. I would start negotiating now so that when the time comes, you already have everything set up. You don't have people waiting. Because one thing these playoff teams don't like doing is having to wait, figure out what you're doing. They're trying to make 5 steps. They're thinking 5 steps ahead, trying to figure out how they're going to line up their pieces, what their draft looks like. Even though we're heading into playoffs, they're looking beyond that. They're trying to figure out, okay, these are the people in the draft. Who am I going to target? Who am I going to invest time on seeing their development throughout the season? So this is a key moment for all the people that have top 6 draft picks. Is hey, what pieces am I trying to get for my pick that I have right now? And that's all I got for the Raiders. What about you guys?
I would like to say, like you said, the Raiders are on a gold mine. I think the Broncos are in great position too. I mean, 107 million in cap space. You're 8-2. Like I continue to say, these top teams, we're about to see them take a dip. These players are about to ask for their money. As you saw Anthony Richardson tweets, he wants to get paid. A lot of these players want to get paid, and a lot of these teams don't have enough money to pay them now. They want to get their stars early. So the teams at the bottom, they're about to be getting these players. The Broncos, they're not even a team at the bottom. They're 8-2. They're a contender in the AFC, and they have the potential to get these top talents. So the Broncos, I think they're in great position right now.
Bills, Jets, anything to add?
Like everybody said, I think the Raiders are very it's a gold mine. You know, it's one team that we're looking at, so you never know. Where it come, they might need to talk to the Bills.
Heck, I think even the Chargers. We saw what their coach can do. That Chiefs game, obviously they haven't played to that potential since then, but that also can fall into another draft pick. You can trade that pick if you could have somehow can get a top 6 pick like the Bears mentioned. You could trade that pick yourself or draft. You got players you can trade. I know the Jets said that the Chargers at first he thought the Chargers were in bad position. I think they're in good position too. honestly.
Jets, any closeout remarks?
What more can be said? I mean, Raiders, you know, they're basically it's a King's Ransom, gold mine, King's Ransom, same thing. But you know, they have a lot of flexibility. I was mostly disappointed with the way KJ Jefferson and that team hasn't, you know, they haven't lived up to, you know, what they had last year. That's the one thing I was disappointed in. Broncos, I mean, they're in a great position this year. Top team in the AFC. Interesting team to watch sometimes, you know, when I get a chance to watch games. Very interesting team. I mean, I like this division. I like where it's heading. And I mean, we said the Chargers. You know, I talked about them a lot. I mean, they got, you know, they got the draft to get some, you know, younger pieces in the building, and that's something that they definitely need, you know, going forward. As you know, you're going to be competing with Kansas City. If you're going to compete with them, you're going to need more pieces to compete with KC and the Broncos. So, if anything, in general, I'm just looking forward to this division, you know, coming competitive in the next, you know, couple seasons.
All right. Well, that wraps up our show for today. Later on today, at some point, we're gonna have the NFC West. So make sure you guys tune in for that one. Tomorrow, we're gonna have the NFC and the AFC North. So make sure you guys tune in tomorrow, 1 p.m. We're gonna have the live AFC side. PM side, that's when we go straight to the NFC. So we'll get that ball rolling, and then we're gonna be having a special announcement on Saturday once we do our last division, which will be the AFC and NFC South. So make sure you guys hit that like button. That helps basically the stream go viral. It pushes it up in the ranks, and that gives us more viewership. That also gives us more potential people that want to apply for the league and be a part of it. And like we said, we do have another league that we're forming, Money League. That kicks off on the 11th of next month. So if you guys want to partake in that, let me know. We'll get you guys in. A lot of good teams still available. We're not really pushing it just yet because of the holiday season. But once the new year hits, we're gonna run like crazy with that. So Vikings, Jets, Colts, Bills. Thank you guys for taking time to be here with us. I know it took an hour and 12 minutes so far, but appreciate your time.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yep.
And with that, we'll catch you tomorrow. Thank you guys. Or actually, we'll catch you later on tonight.